17 News at noon begins with breaking news.
I'm Alex Fisher, and we begin with breaking news of a hazmat situation east of Taft. Here's a look at where first responders are right now. It's on South Lake Road near Taft Manufacturing. Although about 10 miles from the city of Taft, officials at Taft College have told students and staff to go home for the day, and schools in Taft are sheltering in place. Cesar Chavez High School tweeted moments ago today's basketball game at Taft and in Delano have been canceled. County fire and health officials are on scene. At this point, details are limited, and we're working on getting more info for you throughout the day. We have a news crew on the way, and we will bring you a live picture of the scene as soon as we get one. The impeachment trial of President Trump continues this afternoon. You can continue watching the debate on our KGET Facebook page. Today, senators started listening to opening arguments. Jay Gray is following the historic process and has more.
House managers begin to lay out their case.
We are here today in this hallowed chamber, undertaking this solemn action for only the third time in history.
They have up to 24 hours over 3 days to convince senators that President Trump should be removed from office.
President Trump solicited foreign interference in our democratic elections, abusing the power of his office.
The opening statements come after 13 hours of partisan bickering over the rules of this historic trial. The arguments at times intense.
And they lie. And lie and lie and lie.
And personal.
The only one who should be embarrassed, Mr. Nadler, is you.
Frustrating Supreme Court Justice John Roberts.
I think it is appropriate at this point for me to admonish both the House managers and the President's counsel in equal terms to remember that they are addressing the world's greatest deliberative body.
A body that, controlled by Republicans, rejected 11 amendments to allow new documents and additional witnesses, with President Trump suggesting he could use executive privilege to block former staffers like John Bolton from taking the stand.
I don't know if we left on the best of the terms. I would say probably not, and so you don't like people testifying when they didn't leave on good terms, and that was due to me.
If the schedule holds, President Trump's team would begin their defense Saturday. Jay Gray, NBC News, Washington.
Students at Foothill High School are in shock and mourning today as graphic videos spread showing a deadly stabbing just off campus yesterday afternoon. 17's Amber Frias went out to the area this morning and joins us now with what she's learned. Amber?
According to the Sheriff's Department, there were 2 crime scenes, one on Highway 184 and Foothill Road, the other at Pioneer and Park Drives. 3 victims total. 1 died on scene and the other 2 were transported to the hospital. There are many videos and images circulating on social media. We want to show you one of the images we received. Warning, this image is graphic. This image is widely circulated on several social media platforms today. We have altered it to protect the privacy of the victim, but you can still see a young man, a knife in his hand covered in blood. In the background, a teen kneeling is covered in blood. And then behind him, there is a third person bending over in the middle of the street. Deputies were called here just after 2:30 yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, they say about 300 people, many of them students, were surrounding one victim. Deputies and firefighters performed life-saving measures on the student, but he died at the scene. They were then alerted to 2 more stabbing victims on Pioneer Drive, a juvenile and an adult. They were taken to the hospital. KCSO says a weapon was found nearby and a person of interest was taken into custody. No word on whether that person has been arrested or if it's the teen in the pictures. Now this morning, a group of students gathered by a makeshift memorial to remember their classmate. Students I spoke with said the young man was respectful and loving. They added all he wanted was to do well in school, graduate, and be someone in life. Taking him away meant taking a piece of them, they said. Anyone with any information or video of the incidents is urged to call KCSO at 861-3110 or to remain anonymous, call the secret witness at 322-4040. Amber Frias, 17 News.
Amber, thank you. Closing arguments continued in the Leslie Chance murder trial this morning. 17's Vanessa Dillon was inside the courtroom and now joins us live in downtown Bakersfield with details. Vanessa?
Well, Alex, prosecutors began and ended their closing arguments yesterday afternoon, telling jurors that they believe Leslie Janae Chance murdered her husband out of jealousy. But in today's continued closing arguments, now the defense attorney, Tony Liggett, argues that in fact all of the evidence presented throughout this case is based entirely on assumptions. Now, today's trial, Liggett went through a detailed list of what he describes as assumptions in this case. He said the prosecution's arguments against Chance have no foundation. Surveillance video crucial to the prosecution's allegations were criticized by Liggett. Liggett argued the prosecution only spoke to witnesses who allegedly don't like Chance. Instead, he focused on testimonies from those he says do, such as Chance's 3 daughters. He said her innocence is evident through their testimony, since all 3 say they did not recognize the woman in the surveillance video. Liggett also focused on how certain pieces of evidence were never submitted to the district attorney's office. He says these portions of evidence were lost, eventually found on the lead detective's flash drive years later.
This is an innocent person. She did not kill her husband.
And another assumption that defense attorney Tony Liggett argued today was that the prosecution continuously said that she was ready to divorce Todd. In fact, he was saying that several people close to the family said that they were not looking to divorce and she was happy in her marriage. We'll have the very latest on today's closing arguments coming up at 17 News at 5. Reporting in downtown Bakersfield, I'm Vanessa Dillon, 17 News.
Vanessa, thanks. An update on that large explosion at a home in southwest Bakersfield yesterday. It was a massive fire. Several viewers sent us video of the intense flames and thick billowing black smoke. The home was on Privet Place in a Seven Oaks neighborhood. That's just south of the park at Riverwalk and right next to the Bakersfield Fire and Police substations. Officers say they saw the explosion and went to help. Bakersfield Fire says there was $450,000 in damage. No other homes burned. It's still not clear what exactly caused the blaze. We're learning the names of the people badly burned in the fire. Police say Jay, Matthew, and Austin Hanner were inside the home at the time of the explosion. Jay and Matthew Hanner were burned and taken to the hospital. Police say Austin Hanner did not have any visible injuries and was detained. All right, now let's take a look at our forecast with Kevin Charette, who's in the Pinpoint Weather Center, as we're seeing the sun again today.
And we're going to be looking at some very nice temperatures as well as we progress into the afternoon. It is the afternoon lunchtime, and you can see the commute is well underway for that. And we take a look at the visible satellite and radar. And not much to show you right now. We did see a little bit of cloud cover earlier this morning. That has, again, parted ways from Kern County, but made for a beautiful sunrise out of Tehachapi. Vivian Young sending this picture in. Just a beautiful shot. You see some lenticular clouds here forming because of the mountains. A lot of times we see that with the upper level winds, and we see a little cloud cover kind of forms those shelf clouds, or we call lenticular clouds. Here's a look at the temperature in Bakersfield right now, 61 degrees. We have a south wind at 3 miles per hour, and you can see temperatures this afternoon right around 63, sliding back into the lower 50s by tonight. 50 degrees in Tehachapi right now, a north-northwest wind at 13, and temperatures this afternoon will rise into the 40s, back into the 30s this evening. I have much more in your forecast coming up.
All right, Kev, thanks so much. Tonight, the Bakersfield City Council is set to vote on the location of a new low-barrier shelter. There are several locations for the proposed shelter, with some being met with fierce opposition. And at a community meeting, some voiced opinions that the city should work with county officials first before going forward. Bakersfield Homeless Center CEO Lewis Gill says regardless of the decision, there needs to be an investment on solutions.
There's definitely a sense that if we bring that population close to us, it's going to destroy our lives. And nothing can be further from the truth. I understand the worry. I understand the fear.
Gill also says from his 20 years of experience helping others is what is great about Kern County. Tonight's meeting is at City Hall, and it begins at 5:15. We'll have more coming up tonight on 17 News at 5. Las Vegas police are investigating a shooting at a mall that left multiple people wounded. Officials say it happened around 6:15 at the Fashion Show Mall last night. When officers arrived, they found 3 people with gunshot wounds. None are considered life-threatening. Police say the shooting happened after a fight. The suspected shooter reportedly fled the scene. Officials believe it was an isolated incident and there is no longer a threat. Police have not released any description of suspects at this time. The Bakersfield Police Department is cracking down on illegal street racing, but says it needs your help. Last night, the department hosted a community forum at Independence High School. The public was invited to discuss the growing concerns of street racing and how to put the brakes on it moving forward.
It is not a law enforcement issue that we can eliminate alone. Enforcement, absolutely a part of our overall strategy, but our goal is to develop partnerships throughout our community to develop a comprehensive plan to make our streets and our businesses safe.
In the last few weeks, BPD has impounded several vehicles and issued dozens of citations for street racing. Some of those in attendance suggested opening a track for those who enjoy street racing as a hobby. Well, still to come, it is a deadly virus that continues to spread in China. Now health officials here in the U.S. are sounding the alarm, concerned about it spreading here at home. We'll explain coming up. Welcome back. In your 17 Health Watch, Chinese health authorities are urging people in the city of Wuhan to avoid crowds and public gatherings after warning that a new viral illness infecting hundreds of people in the country and causing at least 17 deaths that could spread further. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer has more from Wuhan.
The number of cases continues to climb, getting closer to 500. The number of deaths is at 9, and Chinese officials are afraid that this virus could mutate and spread even further. So there's an all-out effort here to try to contain it. People across Wuhan being advised to wear masks, to wash their hands, to avoid contact with people who have flu-like symptoms. But there are measures that are being employed as well across the world, in particular the United States, screening now at 5 different airports. There is one confirmed case in the U.S. in Washington State. A man who visited China recently showed no symptoms when he returned home, but doctors say he is in stable condition.
I'm thankful that the man who tested positive for this virus acted so quickly and sought treatment. His actions gave us a head start, and because of that, we were able to isolate him away from the public.
The concern, of course, is that this is a virus that can be transmitted between people. So there is a concern as well ahead of what is the busiest time of the year to travel in China. Literally hundreds of millions of people are on the move for the Lunar New Year. So there are all-out efforts here to try to contain it, with the World Health Organization holding an emergency meeting to determine whether this outbreak is an international public health emergency. Janice Mackey-Frayer, NBC News, Wuhan, China.
All right, and once again, we're taking a look at your forecast on this Wednesday, and the sun peeking out today.
Yeah, the sun is peeking out, and that's the way it's going to be throughout the afternoon here. Beautiful skies looking off to the east, and as we take a look at our camera network, you can see lots of sunshine and temperatures warming nicely as we progress into the afternoon as well. Bakersfield sits at 61 degrees, a south wind at 3 miles per hour right now, so those winds coming out of the south, light, but they're out there. And you can see here, nothing to show you on the satellite and radar, and even over I-5 at Fraser Mountain Road. Looking very good as we start the afternoon hour here. We got a few clouds into northern California, but some ridging just to the west will be somewhat in place. We did see some winds earlier this morning as a weak front moved through out of the north. We are going to be tracking a storm by Sunday and into Monday of next week as we show you the future cast here. Not a lot happening into the state in the short term, but then by Sunday we get another system, and it does bring the chance of rain and also higher elevation snow. This will not be a snow event for us. And you can see here through Monday, models have been kind of all over the place between 5/100 and 1/10 of an inch. Our European model wants to keep Bakersfield dry, so it's something we're going to have to watch carefully. We are a little ways out before the storm arrives. 63 degrees today in Bakersfield, 62 in McFarland, 60 out in Taft, a light wind throughout the day, 54 in Fraser Park, 52 in Tehachapi, and then right near 60 into the Kern River Valley. Lake Isabel today at 59, 61 in Kernville, and then for the desert, we'll look for sunny skies and 62 in Ridgecrest, upper 50s in Mojave. Your extended forecast shows mostly sunny skies through Saturday, and then, yes, a chance of those showers Sunday, Monday. I'm still going to keep between 5/100 and 1/10 of an inch of rain for the valley with this system, and then for the mountains, same scenario. We'll keep you nice and mild through Friday with mostly sunny skies, some clouds on Saturday, and then a chance of some showers coming in Sunday and Monday for you as well. Your temperatures will cool somewhat, though, by next Monday in the lower 50s. Here's a look at the Kern River Valley forecast, and you can see here, we'll keep you in the 60s Thursday, Friday, Saturday, even into Sunday, but falling back about 5 degrees, and then between 300s and 500s of an inch of rain for that Sunday-Monday storm. So something to look forward to long term. Short term, though, we're looking pretty nice and very mild out there.
All right, thanks so much, Kev. Appreciate it. We have an update on that breaking news out of Taft, and we're learning a little bit more about what fire officials are saying. They are recommending evacuations for people living near Taft manufacturing. That's where a chemical release happened earlier this morning. Officials say if you live within 6 miles of that location, you should evacuate immediately. An evacuation center has been set up at First Baptist Church at 220 North Street out in Taft. So again, Kern County fire officials are recommending evacuations for people living within 6 miles of Taft manufacturing after that chemical release earlier this morning. Once again, we have a 17 News crew that is headed to the scene, and we will give you more information on this chemical release once we learn more. You can download our 17 News app to receive breaking news alerts that can be sent directly to your phone. Your Business Watch is coming up after the break.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch and taking a look at Wall Street. The Dow Jones is up 11 points right now. The S&P 500 is up 3, and NASDAQ is up 19. The switch to 5G internet connection is promising to revolutionize the way we surf the internet, chat with our loved ones, and even navigate our cars. And experts say access to the next generation wireless network will be better than ever this year. In today's Consumer Watch, a closer look at the impact 5G will have on our lives.
5G is here. Faster speeds, speedier connections, and seamless streaming. But most of us haven't seen these promised perks. That's because 5G coverage is still pretty limited across the country. But that may change this year. Tech experts say 5G phones and networks will increasingly become more accessible to everyone this year. So how fast is 5G? Experts say it's internet speed that's up to 100 times faster than 4G. Here's how it works. Much of 5G network will travel over super high frequency airwaves, which bring faster speeds and more bandwidth. Because they can't travel through walls or windows, wireless companies are having to install possibly millions of miniature cell towers on top of lampposts and buildings. That process has been slow as wireless companies roll out the service one market at a time. Experts say 5G coverage is expanding much faster than the pace of 4G rollout a decade ago. Right now in the U.S., all 4 of the major wireless providers are offering some kind of 5G service. Back in December, T-Mobile launched what it called the first nationwide 5G network, and the other 3 providers say they too will have coast-to-coast service later this year. In Consumer Watch, I'm Mary Maloney.
All right, we'll be back after this. Welcome back. Usually you rate your driver by giving them stars, but for a few riders using Lyft, they were given a star as a driver. The shock some passengers had when hailing a ride, plus it was a wedding this was the shock, of course, that you see right here, that it was Will Smith who was the driver. And he went undercover as a driver as part of a promotion called Bad Boys for Lyft. A play on words that cross-promotes Lyft with Smith's new movie, Bad Boys for Life. The unsuspecting passengers were very surprised, as you can imagine, by their celebrity driver, with one so shocked that she blurted out expletives. We're not going to tell you what exactly she said. Not only did the experience lift their spirits, but the passengers also received a free year of Lyft rides. That would be such the surprise if you ordered a Lyft and all of a sudden looked over and saw that Will Smith was going to be your driver. Kind of a neat story right there. A Kentucky couple said "I do" this week, only days before the groom leaves for basic training. After enlisting a few weeks back and being sworn in soon after, the wedding preparation had to happen quickly. And at the last minute, someone special showed up to help celebrate the big day. Evan Gorman has more.
Cutting the table runner, placing the candles, and displaying the cake. A private room inside Owensboro's Old Hickory Barbecue is made over for a marriage.
Y'all ready? I'm not ready. Are y'all ready? Okay.
21-year-old Tyler Cowan is marrying his girlfriend of more than 3 years, Natalie.
We're gathered here today to celebrate the life's greatest moments.
Tyler is scheduled to leave for basic training in a week. He decided to enlist in the Marines only weeks ago and was immediately sworn in. His mother, Tracy, who had Tyler when she was 16 years old, served in the U.S. Army Reserves. Her father in the Air Force.
So in all of that, we knew it would go quickly. We're so very proud.
Tyler's father died when he was only 3.
And these kids have overcome a lot, and they've got a big journey ahead of them. They don't fall to statistic like everyone says.
When Tyler and Natalie decided to get married before he left, Tyler's half-sister Abby got ordained online, leading the ceremony in front of many loved ones.
Marriage is a promise between two people who love and trust and love.
But there was one person missing, or so he thought. Tyler's half-sister Samantha, someone he's never met.
Holy cow.
Are you surprised?
Yeah, that's insane. This is not the surprise I was expecting.
It warms my heart. It is the last piece of the puzzle from his dad's family that he needed, I think, to move on with his own journey.
And with the exchange of the rings, the two tied the knot.
I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss your bride.
Tyler is expected to leave for training on January 27th, so his family plans to spend just a lot of time together between now and then. Natalie is in school to be a teacher and is about halfway through her program. Congratulations to both of them. A forecast from the National Weather Service in Miami shocked the nation. It wasn't raining cats and dogs, but something else. Florida's forecast coming up next. Welcome back. A weather forecast for South Florida gets worldwide attention after meteorologists call for falling frozen iguanas. Yes, you heard me right. The large lizards are cold-blooded and temperatures in the 30s just leave them frozen in their tracks. Someone in Delray Beach found this guy on its back in the street and moved it to safer ground. The cold weather doesn't kill the iguanas, it just stuns them. So when this guy started to warm up, he started moving again. Iguanas often hang out in trees, so when they freeze, they just fall on the ground. It's one of those only in Florida things. Iguanas are native to tropical areas, including Central America, South America, and some Caribbean islands. And they are popular pets, especially in Florida. And the population has increased dramatically in recent years. I feel like we hear this every once in a while. Every winter, you hear at least this happening at least once. We want to give you one final update on that breaking news that we've been following out of Taft. County fire officials are responding to a chemical release about east of Taft at the Taft manufacturing business. Again, details are limited at this time, but we do know that county officials are saying that they are recommending people who live within a 6-mile radius of Taft manufacturing to evacuate. More information on our website, KGET.com. We are returning to the NBC News special report of the impeachment of President Trump. We'll see you back here tonight at 5.